Hey, it's Josh, and this video I just wanted to share a story that happened recently that I sort of think of as an accidental trip report. You could call it maybe an unintentional trip report, although during the experience I did start to create some intentions around it, which turned it into a pretty interesting experience. So let me just sort of set the stage for it. A friend of mine was having a grand opening party for his business, and his DJ had made some treats for the night, some magic brownies. So just with cannabis, and so I was excited to try them. And they'd warned me that some of them were just regular magic brownies, and some other ones with the Smarties on top were a little stronger. So I thought, well, I'm an experienced guy, let me try the strong one. So I was munching away at the enhanced brownie, and the DJ noticed and sort of looked like he was taken aback and asked me, is that the one with the Smarties on it? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, are you gonna eat the whole thing? And I was like, oh. Finished it. He's like, I guess so. So he's looking at me for a few more seconds with this blank look on his face, and he's like, good luck, and goes back to his DJing. When the guy who makes the brownies looks concerned for you, you know you have something to be worried about. And yeah, sure enough, within like 20 minutes, I started to feel the effects. And within 45 minutes, I was like, you know that feeling where, well, I don't know if there's any experienced users watching this, but where you sort of feel like you're falling back inside yourself, and you lose sense of time. And it was like just anyway, a very I became instantly aware of this present moment, but I couldn't remember much of what just happened. And I thought, you know what, I better head home. I was taking transit home, and so I thought, okay, before this starts to get too strong, I better get out of here. So somehow I managed to make my way to the bus station, and it was literally like one step at a time. And it started to get to a point where my short-term memory was completely gone. Like, I could only remember that I wanted to take another step forward, and I can't remember what the last step was that brought me to this moment. I remember thinking I need to get to the bus station, but I don't remember what led to that thought, and it was instantly forgotten as soon as I remember it. Now, in hindsight, I remember a lot more than I did when I was in the moment. There was some recording mechanism that was still going, but I have never been, with cannabis, this removed from, having an idea of what, memory was, or being able to keep track of my thoughts. It was like, now I understand why some people can get a little anxious when they get really high, because I never understood that. People say, oh, I get a little worried, I get a little anxious about, and I'm like, what is the most relaxing thing around? Like, it's something that you take to sort of Netflix and chill. But now I get it. It was a little worrisome, but I decided I can either get kind of freaked out by how overwhelming the sensation was, or I could use this as an opportunity to practice being present and to trust that there is some part of me, some true self, some intuition that knew, or that was directing me, or that could lead, even though the thinking brain, the intellectual ego part of me was incapacitated. I've always wanted to be in that present moment. I had little glimpses and experiences from minutes to hours of being completely present with a quieting of the mind, and it was the most incredible experience. And now I was sort of forced into that situation, and it was scaring me. So I thought, well, you know what, worst case scenario, I wake up in the morning somewhere, I don't know where I am, but it's not going to last forever. This is not a permanent situation, so let's roll with it. Next thing I know, I'm at the bus station. So I sat there, and this stuff, it just kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And it got to the point where I had this incredible, just vibrating body buzz of just feeling my body intensely, and just I could feel my ego trying to grasp control of the situation, and unsuccessfully. And I got on the bus, and I was very proud of myself. I was like, I made it. I have my bags with me. I looked up, I'm on the right bus. I did it. I just have to get off at the right stop. And this was a successful experiment and experience. So I thought I can relax. So I sat back and closed my eyes. And I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Get Out, but once I closed my eyes and sort of sat back, it was like that falling back into I think it was called the sunken place. It was that feeling of falling back within myself to the point where I was so removed from like my mind and perception of outside, and sort of fallen back into this space where I was sort of observing reality from way back in like in an abyss. And I almost sort of felt like if I just stay here, I'm gonna like pass out into like a wild dream. So I sat with that for a little bit, and then like forced myself to open my eyes and come back into the moment, and was trying to get my bearings, and I was looking around, and I was trying to figure out, how did I get on to this airplane? Where are we flying to? And how do I know like when to get off? Did I have a ticket? I must have, because they wouldn't have let me on a plane without a ticket. Where's my family? Like, wouldn't I be flying with my wife and my daughter? But I thought, you know what, they wouldn't have let me on if I wasn't meant to be on here, so I'll just relax. And I'm looking down the aisleway, and there's several other people on this plane. It's a small plane, but I was a little freaked out, but I remembered, okay, I'm just trusting the process. It was the weirdest, trippiest feeling, like, how did it get here? Am I going to another country, or what is going on? Until I saw a street light go by. This was nighttime after the party, completely blacked out. A street light went by, and I'm like, oh wait, oh no, I'm not on a plane. And then a car went by, the headlights of a car. I'm like, oh, I'm on a bus. But I was so convinced, because I had no memory of the moment of getting on the bus, or where I was going, or what was going on. And when I came out of that sunken space, it was like a fresh start, boom, boom, and it looked like I was in a little plane. Like a small passenger plane. So I had a little laugh that it's all good. I'm on a bus. Oh yes, I'm going home. Oh yeah, I remember I had to get off at the stop, and I sort of just forced myself to stay awake and alert. And every time a stop was announced, no, that's not, until one sort of rang a bell. I was like, oh, that sounds, got out. And I don't know how it happened, but I ended up waking up in my own bed. Had all of my things that I had with me were there, and woke up totally refreshed. And I didn't panic. And in hindsight, although to me it's quite an interesting and humorous story in many ways, it was also a great learning experience. It's a great opportunity to practice being present, because that's the only choice you had. You can try to get the control of the situation with your ego, which always wants future, planning for the future, what's next, or remembering the past. It always takes you out of the moment into the future or the past. But when you're in the present, it's a whole new level of reality. And then I was trusting that there's some part of me, without this even having control, some authentic self knows, has an intention still. Let me tune into that, tap into that, come into the body, and go from there. And maybe some of you who are watching can relate or have had some similar experience, and maybe this is a new way to look at it. I'm wishing you all love and light, and until next time, stay awake.